All right, so this is the 21st February EOF Implementers Progress Call. I guess the standard agenda is we get client updates, and then we talk about spec updates, and we open the floor to other issues. If you have open issues that are not spec updates or client updates, please put them in chat, and then we'll come to them in order. So first on client updates, Besu is in the process of rewriting its stack validator to comply with the new stack validator changes with the variable stack height. That was the stuff put in to make Solidity more efficient in handling its reverts and some of its returns. So that is Besu's progress there. And we're running through a lot of the tests that were mentioned last week. Reference tests; those are great tests. I'm able to shift my mindset from spec implementation to test-driven development, and looking at what the tests are telling me is wrong, which I think is a more productive development cycle than trying to decipher the spec and figure out all the places in the code it goes. So thank you for all the tests. Those are awesome. Yeah, that's it for Besu. Next up, I see next person in my line would be EVM1.
We have merged relaxed stack validation and so create 3 and create 4 and Xcode logic for legacy is mostly waiting for tests update to be merged, and we're still working on new calls, I think. That's it.
Okay. We don't have anyone from Nethermind or Geth or Reth or Aragon. Charles, anything from Viper? You posted a bit. No updates from Viper's end. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And no one from Solidity. Any other spec updates? I think I covered everyone I see on the call. Jesse RC, are you presenting an implementer team?
Oh, no, I'm
Go
not.
ahead.
I'm not. I'm just here.
Just here? Okay, cool. Want to make sure everyone that's here gets represented to have things to say. So that's it for client updates. Kind of a slow week. Next week is ETH Denver. So I will probably miss this call. I'll probably be on a bus somewhere. Because I live in Denver. Of course, I'm going to go to the conference. Don't have to travel. So I don't know if I'll have any updates next week. And next week is another All-Core Devs call. I don't know what the agenda is yet. I'll have to look it up. Spec updates. Are there any spec updates? EIP 663 is ready. 663, that has swap in, dupe in, as well as exchange at the moment, right, Charles?
Yeah, that's correct. I think there's like a couple off by ones, and then there's some wording changes.
Okay. Good. So I guess we just need to get ASIC or one of the. Yeah. ASIC doesn't want to review his own PR, so he's waiting for another EIP editor to admit it through, and yeah. Peter?
Right?
You came off mute. I was wondering if you had something to add.
No, actually.
Okay, cool. Any other spec updates? Any other changes? Any other issues people have found out while testing? Okay.
I think there's not so much
Paul?
has changed. I just think the AP process is a bit slower.
We cannot hear you. You're very, 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 very quiet.
Okay.
You turn up your mic or something? Bit robotic, but
Maybe it's
go ahead.
too much volume now.
Okay, how about now?
Better. We can understand you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think nothing really has changed so much in the spec, but the documents in the EAP are being slowly updated. So the process is rather slow because like cross dependencies, and we need for some editors to make a decision about some stuff and so on.
What are those open issues we need to have decisions made? Are they things that we implementers can do, or is that EIP editor issues?
I think the off by ones in 663 that came up need to be looked at. And we also got the create EIP merged, but it's in draft, and now 3540 depends on it, and it cannot, and the updates cannot be merged because create EIP is in draft. So you might want to get some initial feedback on the EIP for create, and then push it to review, I guess, and that would unblock the other stuff. So it's a mix of
Okay.
of
So it's all
editor
EIP stuff, all
Yeah.
process problems.
Yeah, except for the off by one that Andre brought up, but I need to look at this because this is like a
Right.
recurring subject.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's understandable.
Thank you very much for this.
Cool. So I guess if that is status and spec updates, I guess it's any other issues that anyone's having or experiencing with their EOF. Any other questions or? Well, if there's no questions and we're just waiting for implementations and specs, I guess we could shorten the call. I don't know. No need to make people stay. Paul.
Only this one we discussed, I think, today. I mean, I didn't participate. It's about this create tree instruction name. Is this something we
Okay.
should pay attention already, or it's something for later?
We can discuss it now. You want to give background on what the issue is?
I think Piotr will be better to explain it.
Sorry, I missed a tiny bit. Can you repeat the issue which we want to discuss?
What is
Create tree
the
name?
issue of the create tree naming or
Oh yeah,
the call
the
naming?
name. So first we found the naming suboptimal and temporary a while ago, but this topic kind of died out, and now someone brought up the issue that create free has at one point been considered as I didn't look at the details very closely. It's like a different operation altogether. There was an EIP proposal, but it didn't get merged, I think, and there are some Stack Overflow threads about that, and they refer to create free to something completely different than what we describe. And someone brought it up on our ETHMAG thread. So yeah, I guess the question is whether or not we want to rename create free and create 4. Also calls 2.0 could be renamed.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I found the issue with let me see if I can share this. The create 3 in EIP. Let me get my window to not be so obnoxiously large before I share it. Get Zoom. Share screen. All right. Yeah, so I think this was what you're referencing. There is a proposal in 21. To do create 3, it's like create 2, except it's got some variation on the address name.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think, a community library called create 3.
Right.
So it's kind of an overloaded name. Yeah.
I
There
mean,
were some real
ours was,
positives. Go ahead.
you know, Create 3 was a temporary name, I guess, because as it sets or it continues a bad precedent of just doing sequels.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, and push 2 and push 3 are not sequels of push.
Mhm.
So it's kind of bad.
And there's also an S-Store2 community, which is doing contract-based storage. So that's, another example of using the SQL names for non-opcode items. So what were some of the alternative names that were proposed?
I think it would be ideal if I could share screen with some HackMD quickly. But ASIC just posted another alternative. I just want to put it in and I'll make a.
Go ahead and share. I think everyone's got the share rights.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I just need 1 minute. Oh no, I just done because we had a thread on Discord. Almost there. How do you share screen with this thing here?
Should be a green button.
A green button. I always miss it because it's green. It's kind of.
Just seeing black right now.
Okay, interesting. Should be sharing HackMD. It's all black?
For me. Just
For me,
says
Black. Okay, so I cannot. Oh, my screen share is loading. That's what it's telling me. I'm not sure what that means. Hold on. Do you see the whiteboard?
Yep, I see the whiteboard now.
I'm gonna do this an awkward way, but maybe it will work. It's not working. Sorry.
Is the URL public? I could try sharing it.
It's probably not because I for some reason cannot. Okay, I'll just paste it, and maybe someone from Epsilon can set the visibility to something sensible. Can you open it? I posted it in the chat.
Yeah, I can't open it. I'm not Ethereum.org.
Yeah, exactly. Andrei, can you modify it to?
I probably can't modify, but I can share the screen, I guess.
Okay, try maybe yours will work.
So I think you'll need to close the
you-
whiteboard.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. Okay.
Yeah, I think I closed it.
Okay, thanks. Wow, this is. Oh,
There we
great.
go.
Ah, 10 minutes. to get this. Thanks, Andrei.
Okay. So I guess these are the options for create 3 and create 4, it looks like.
Yeah, the first 5 are for create 3 and 4, and the next one are for call. These were which I have seen being tossed around, and I collected them over some time, and yeah. So I don't know any. I'll give you a moment to look through them, and then let me know what you think.
I know my favorites, but I'm not tied to them. So
I remember you liked ext create. Was that the one?
Yeah. External create and factory create. So that way, external create could be triggered off of more than just what's in the transaction. A layer 2, for example, could have a set of predefined contracts that you can build from, and maybe those are the only ones you can build from.
Sure.
So thinking from layer 2 extensibility is what I think external create. Object instead of create is an interesting twist I hadn't thought of before.
Could be also
Anyone
create.
else? Yeah. Go ahead.
I modified the file, but you can't see it for some reason. Because so X create would be accompanied by factory create, correct?
That would be, yeah. I think that's better than the other 3 options, or the 2 options actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the opcode it communicates what the intent is. It's intended for factory contracts.
Yeah, I think we have to stick to the create name. So I would eliminate the last 2 names,
The
I
last
think.
2. Yeah, I think it's a benefit of being familiar. And it's not
Yeah.
fundamentally
don't-
different. It's just a
I
different
would, yeah. I think it doesn't have to be very beautiful, but I think we need to stick with the
Mhm.
create somewhere in the name.
Yeah, I agree. Factory create is a bit long, and it also can imply that a factory is created, which is not the case, but I think it's good enough. And yeah, I'm fine with either tx create or ext create.
What about int create, internal create?
Instead of factory create?
Right.
That sounds like integer.
Yeah,
It does
yeah,
sound like integer.
it does. Mm. Okay, so I guess the first 2 are the short list,
Okay.
right?
And then call to in that series, I guess, is the next question.
Yeah, if we can handle both when we are at it. For this, I have slight preference against the second one, which is the very abbreviated one. It's just too abbreviated, and it also doesn't have the familiarity of delegate call and static call spelled out. and the last one kind of looks ecstatic call. It just sounds like some, yeah, I don't know, pagan ritual thing. So yeah,
Static.
I would ecstatic call even better.
This
So yeah, I would defer the third one, I guess.
yeah, I like the third one too, most of all.
The blue square one, I guess.
Yeah, third one's relatively inoffensive.
There was some
Okay.
was there some feedback that L call means something in some convention somewhere? I have some light recollection. Someone. Pavel, was that you?
No, definitely not me.
No. Okay, sorry. Okay, I guess we have some candidates and we can. Then we are slightly in favor of the ext create rather than tx create because it's more generic.
I'm in favor of lower names. So, sorry, shorter. So this L call, LD call, LS call.
Okay. Hmm.
It's
I'm fine with
more
that
similar
too.
to
2 or
other
3 are my
instruction
favorite
sets.
in that list. I think one's too long.
Yeah, it's too long. It's very, very long. And V2 is just a less obnoxious version of call2, which is also quite suboptimal, I think. So it's either L call or, oh, sorry, LD call or L delegate call. Okay, any more voices or any more pros and cons of the TX create, TXT create to voice now?
Yeah, I kind of
I'm
also
not-
like this single letter prefixes, including D and S. I think it's
All right.
relatively easy to read and more or less the same length.
It's
So
also
could we
reminiscent of
combine
like
it and
other
have an LSD
instruction
call?
sets. Maybe TX create and VM create because create or factory create can only be, or what is this? We don't even know what we're talking about. But factory create renamed to VM create because you can only do it from inside the EVM.
Mhm. Yeah, this is also interesting.
Yeah, my concern is it is implying we're creating the VM itself, not necessarily where it can only get from within.
How about create 3 and TX create?
Well, create free is the contentious one.
And we'll just claim victory.
Um,
I mean, that's an
container
option.
create?
Ignoring the collision is always an option.
Yeah,
Maybe not the best
totally.
one.
You could also call it container container create.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, it's always the same case that it's implying that you're creating containers, and with factories, kind of the word factory is slightly less, more like this. This is just my very subjective sense. Just because factory is, you know, factory. I'll just make the note of the VM create one.
EOF create's not actually a bad idea. Because it's clear that we only created from within EOF. And it's coming from the object format.
I mean, EOF create
Yeah.
like this.
EOF create and external create.
I like TX create.
Okay, EOF create and TX create. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it says where you're creating them from. One is doing it from an EOF container object, and the other is from transaction data, maybe TX data create, but that's maybe overkill.
So what was the? I'm making notes here, but for some reason they do not show up in Andrei's screen. He's sharing. There you go. And what was the other one? EOF create and TX create. I mean, we can have
EOF
some
and TX, I think, are very direct in saying where they're from, even though it doesn't preserve space for future development. That's a hypothetical. And I see the advantage of keeping it just as what it is. So there's a strong argument for that. I think that's the best one that resonates the most.
this one and this one, these two.
Yeah. Cool. Drop that into the Discord chat, let that marinate for a week, and then lock it in.
Yeah, we can also make a PR right away. But
yeah, make a PR.
We see it as it presents itself in the spec. And
yep, yeah. Let's lock it in and wait for cries of objection. And if there are no cries of objection, then we lock it in a week. I'm cool with that.
Okay, cool. Great. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else people want to discuss? If there is none, I guess we could end the meeting early and give everyone 28 minutes back. Thanks for attending.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.